So usually when I do these podcasts, I'm quite animated in my introductions and I script out everything that I'm going to talk about to be as professional as possible. But I want to do a different approach today and I want to free flow and talk straight from the heart. I think it's very important for us to be as authentic as we possibly can in whatever we do. And I don't feel like I can do justice to this topic without speaking from my own experience. So I want to talk about dating toxic people or damaged people. I'm sure you have experience with this where you meet someone and you fall in love with them. You think they're amazing, but it turns out that they're quite damaged. And often you'll deal with a lot of behaviors that is disrespectful or gaslighting, manipulation, arguments, infidelity, whatever it may be. And you put up with it because you think, damn, I know this person is a little damaged, but like with the work, they can be fixed. Or I love them so much, and yeah, sure, they're bad in this way, but they're so great in another way. The relationship is fine, except for the fact that they're cheating on me or being manipulative or they're lying to me all the time. But the relationship is good. I'm sure you've been in a situation like that. I have, and in fact, my last relationship ended because of infidelity. That it really wrecked me. Discovering your partner's being unfaithful to you is something that can really shake you to your core. And I've learned a lot of lessons from these things because I look back at my dating history and I tend to understand that I have a pattern of attracting girls who have certain traits in them that are very toxic and damaged, like codependency or insecurity or lack of self-worth or self-respect or self-love or whatever it may be. I've noticed this pattern in myself that I keep gravitating towards these girls who are towards these relationships that are inevitably going to end because the people that I'm with are not willing to face their own demons. And that's something that most of us overlook. Nobody can change for someone else, irrespective of how much they care about you. People only change for themselves. They can only change for themselves because change is such an intrinsic thing. I can love someone as much as I possibly can. I can give them all of myself. I can give more and more, but they aren't going to change unless they want to. And that's because to some degree we are all motivated by the self, by our ego. That's why we seek out a partner that we find to meet certain criteria or looks a certain way or earns a certain way, because we feel like it serves ourselves in some manner. Even when we make mistakes in our lives, we measure them according to what we are willing to risk or what we are willing to gain. So you can't change someone who's damaged unless they want to change. More often than not, people just become a better version of themselves or a worse version of themselves. Meaning, if someone is a liar, they can get better at lying, or they can get worse at lying. They can become more honest, but or they get worse at it. But the thing is that people are only capable of change unless they want to. You can't fix a damaged person. You can't fix them. You can influence them. You can give them a reason, but you can't be the only reason, and you can't be the fixer. And this is something that I need to realize, or really. Well, I have. It's something that I need to focus on when dating. I think everyone needs to have a vetting process during the dating period, and that can only begin by actually being honest with yourself and recognizing certain patterns in your life, like who you select within your dating pool. Because if you don't have a vetting process, what's going to happen is you are going to go towards that which you are familiar with. And if you are only familiar with people who have toxic or damaged traits, then that's who you're going to be attracted to. But that also comes back to another point of we attract who we are. In other words, if you're codependent, you're going to attract someone who's either codependent or someone who uses codependency. Is that making any sense? Like, unless you deal with your own demons, you will find it in someone else, because like attracts like. I know we have this whole thing about opposites attract, and to some degree that's true. It's fun to have a situation where there's a difference of opinion and difference of taste because this allows us to experience more. But when it comes to core fundamental elements of a person's character or personality, like attracts like. So unless you're willing to work on your own issues, your own codependency, your own low self-worth, your own low integrities or values or morals, then you're going to continue to attract these people who have the same thing, because you make an excuse for yourself, so you'll make an excuse for them. Oh, okay, this person, I've lied before, so it's okay that they're lying, they'll change because I can change. That's not how it works. You can't make excuses for others because of the inability to face your own inadequacies. Sorry, there's an airplane going past, but dealing with damage and toxic people tend to end negatively. I feel like every time you have these relationships with people who are either cheating on you, abusing you, lying to you, manipulating or controlling you, it's taking away precious time, energy, and I think the most important thing is time, and it's taking away this time that can be spent on yourself, but also can be spent on the kind of people that you really want in your life. So what I'm trying to say in this video is that you need to become the kind of person you want to attract. In doing so, you need to fix your own inadequacies, the things in you that you may consider toxic or damaged, or that rear their head during a relationship and cause issues. But you also need to have a vetting process. You need to be able to recognize when someone has certain traits or behaviors that's going to sabotage you or cause pain in your life, because you have a pattern of allowing this sort of behavior to infiltrate your relationships. I don't think it's worth the effort to stick by someone who is unwilling to change for themselves. As you could want them to change as much as you want to, but unless they are willing to put in the work, it's never gonna happen. It's just not going to happen. And that's something you have to accept. I see so many people stay stuck in relationships for years on end with someone who's a serial cheater, and they're just hoping that, okay, maybe this time he'll stop, maybe this time she'll stop. If I just love her enough, she'll stop feeling this desire to fill this gap within her with someone else. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because they aren't willing to face their own demons. So the best thing that you can do for yourself right now is to recognize when someone is toxic for you and choose whether you want to stick with the situation or not. You need to have an honest conversation with them and determine whether they have a true desire to change for themselves and to fix these problems. And if you're in the dating scene, I encourage you to spend as much time as you possibly can to purge these damaged traits or toxic traits from your childhood or from your adult life that still bother you right now. Purge them out of your system so that you don't invite this sort of energy into your life, and you invite people who are more positive, who are more stable, who are more loyal, honest, committed into your life, so that you can enjoy the kind of relationships that you deserve. Honestly speaking, when you only experience negative and damaged relationships, you start to assume that all relationships must be this way. You start to find joy and comfort in the fact that, okay, this toxic relationships feel so familiar, it must be right. But that's not the case. There's relationships you could have that are full of love, positivity, understanding, compromise, compassion, sympathy, honesty, commitment, integrity, joy, without all of the baggage and all of that crap that you deal with in these toxic and damaged relationships. These relationships exist and you can be happy in them, but you can only be happy in them if you purge all of these negative things from your life. It starts now. It starts with making a conscious decision to first work on yourself, to become the kind of person you want to attract, and then to say no or to vet through the people that you are dating, and just to disqualify those who have these toxic traits. If you surround yourself with a certain group of people, you will become like them. It's that saying, you become the sum total of the 5 closest people to your life. So what you need to do is expose yourself to healthy people, expose yourself to healthy relationships. Distance yourself from those who are damaged and toxic and negative, or from those relationships that are that way. Distance yourself. Put as much distance as you can. Become the kind of person you want to date in the future. And by doing so, you'll find a natural attraction towards these people who are more positive, who are more healthy for a loving long-term relationship. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I know I rambled on for quite a bit, but I promise you that if you put in the work to find positive people in your life, by becoming a positive person, you're going to have some wonderful relationships. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video or this podcast. Let me know by leaving a comment down below, or just leave me a question. I'd like to talk about things that you guys have on your mind, and we can work through some of these issues, and I can share my opinion and take with you. Also, head over to the site. I have a ton of articles on how to attract the quality of partners that you want, and also to become the best version of yourself. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.